one red, pour out the Jameson for ancestors to swig.
You rescue me yet again. You put me first everywhere. You make me feel better than the multitudes. You rescue me yet again. You put me first everywhere. You make me feel better than the multitudes.
So that white does not disappear on planet Earth. Now, unbeknownst to us, this is the critical underlying motivation for all of the behavior of people who classify themselves as white on this planet. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the name Tom Metzger. He was one of the arch white supremacists or white separatists. Some years ago, I was on a television program in Los Angeles when President Reagan's son had a television talk show. And so this particular show was a panel of people, might have been 10 people, talking about race and racism. I just happened to be sitting next to Mr. Metzger. And so during the commercial break, I kind of touched him on his arm. I'm sitting right next to him. And he didn't say, "Don't touch me, nigger." I said, "Mr. Metzger, tell me something. What percentage of people who classify themselves as white are fearful of white genetic annihilation?" And he answered very politely. He said, "Dr. Welsing, nearly all of them. But they are ashamed or afraid to admit it." Now, I can understand that. In other words, this system is about white genetic survival. Now, if some people have organized a system for their genetic survival, what's the chance that they're going to give that system up? None. See, they worked hard. And we can consider it unjust. It's the most unjust system that has ever been devised on the planet, where you have 1/10 of the people deciding that they need to control 9/10 of the people on the planet. But all along, I maintain we have not understood this. We thought when we were formerly enslaved, if they would just take off the chains, everything is going to be okay. So they removed the chains, and then what did they do next? They put laws in place to accomplish the same thing. And we went through the 1960s in what is being called the Civil Rights era. And the black people, with all of their dignity and their pride and their courage, going up against horses and hoses and dogs to get the vote, to get that change, coming out of that movement, saying black pride, black is beautiful, black power, black self-respect. And the people who had something else in mind said that's dangerous. If people are talking about self-respect and dignity, and I encourage everybody to look at the films Eye on the Prize and look at those black people, men and women and children, going up against a horrific force But they were determined and they had their self-respect with them. But the system said, this is dangerous. If we let these people go forward, talking about black pride, black dignity, black is beautiful, we will be in trouble. So we have to have something for them. And I maintain that's when they decided, well, we have to feed them images of Superfly, prostitutes, pimps selling drugs, men kicking women, all kind of language. Following that up into the present with having black people call themselves niggers and dogs and gangsters and thugs and bitches and hoes.
That's right. That's right.
Now once that's in the brain computer, you can do anything. See, that's the complete annihilation of self-respect. Now we didn't understand it. We thought, oh, this is just entertainment.
Annihilation.
White would disappear. You see, so kill him.
Stop that.
Because that would mean our genetic disappearance. So, if the system is about white genetic survival,
That's all it's about.
what do they have to worry about most?
Interracial dating.
Black men and white women. Black men and white women.
Okay, give him a B plus. Black men, white women. Okay, but let's even take it further. In that if the concern is white genetic survival, they don't have to worry about black women. Why?
Because white men don't date black women.
See, the test is going to be next week. The reason being is that men, males, whether they're white, black, brown, red, or yellow, can impose sexual intercourse. If I would, try to impose sexual intercourse on any of the gentlemen here, and they say, I'm sitting next to my wife, and I went to my purse and I got my Uzi.
Whoa.
And I frightened the man. What's going to happen?
It's not going to work.
I hope everybody got that. The erection cannot be maintained in the presence of fear. So females cannot impose sexual intercourse, like ultimately, what? Frighten the man. Now the Creator made that possible so somebody, if they were in danger, they wouldn't be in conflict. You see, it's fear. Fear about unemployment could cause a man to have erection problems. Are you all with me? So there's a reason that if the concern is genetic survival, and see, we are decoding this material because we have thought somehow there's some white people who are going to work with us. Sometimes we thought it was Republicans, sometimes we thought, with Lincoln, and sometimes Democrats. But even President Obama is finding out. It could be Republicans or Democrats. But if it's a black man that they're being asked to support, they start jumping ship. Because the test for white people, see, in other words, they work 24/7. They don't sleep. They got 3 shifts going. See, we work one shift and then go to bed and then party. They work 24/7 about maintaining the conditions for their survival. You see, because it is very serious to them. And if they have some people who classify themselves as white, who start looking like they're getting out of line, what's the question that they ask? Are you a nigger lover? Do you see, are you with us or are you with them? Now, this is a fundamental question that has to do with the issue of their survival. So that we cannot depend on communists, conservative liberals, Greens, libertarians. And see, this is not a lecture about hate white people. It is a lecture about understanding the opposition. And one of the best analogies to have in mind is the game of chess. See, what is the game of chess about?
War. Strategy.
Those are nice BC answers.
Tell them about the Black King.
It's conquering the king. White is right.
It's about white king checkmate black king. White always moves first, so white is playing what? Offense, defense. Black has to play defense, offense. This is what we have now. This is distressing to a lot of people because we wanted to believe, as we were even programmed to believe in the area of religion. See, I don't know how many of you, I'm a little bit older than many, but if you went to Sunday school, my grandfather was chairman of the deacon and trustee board, so we were in Sunday school before we could see straight. But what did we learn?
My grandfather was a deacon, so
That God is white.
I ain't even sing him when we used to go to party
Anybody
restaurant on
think they
Wednesday.
didn't learn that God was white? See, if you were given that little Sunday school card with a white picture of Jesus, your brain automatically concluded that his father had to be white. His father could not have been black. Now, if he was a historic figure, he was black. Even Billy Graham said that Jesus could not have been white.
Hello?
But we are programmed
Hold on.
to think that Jesus was white and therefore his father